are getting ready for the VIP portion of the tour. We're getting all of the packets together with all the information for everybody. And maps and notebooks and all kinds of good stuff.
Arming people.
That's right, arming people with all the facts they need. I know tomorrow's going to be a great day. No, it's exciting. It's I think one of the funnest parts for me about this tour is it's everybody that we've been working for the past year, and they're all on the tour, and so it's just fun to be showcasing all of our work for the past year. So it is an exciting event.
Just briefly, I mean, we get this question a lot. So what do these things cost? And somebody came up to me in the break and sort of started talking about that these are expensive. And yes, they are expensive. I think hopefully as we get some more scale, we get some more people doing this, we get some modular builders in the game, loosen a little bit on some of the zoning things that drive up cost. But right now, pretty much we see stuff on the low end, in the low 220 area, all the way up to say over 300. That's kind of the range of products that you will see today. So just the fact of doing 1.5 stories adds complexity to the roof. It limits the ability of, say, a modular company. Because if it's, say you had a modular company, Alley Flats and Terra is one company that's trying to do this, is you can just stack boxes on top of each other, which is cheaper. Right now you have to have a box with a little roof and then another box on top. So it just adds complexity. Generally it adds size because you're trying to get a, say, set amount on top that's livable and usable. Well, you have to make the garage bigger generally. So just all of these little things tend to add cost, time, complexity, all these things. That's why if you go to the Curtis Park project today, you'll see that is just a 2-story, and it's a really nice space. It's a similar footprint to some of the other projects you'll see, but feels much better upstairs and is very cost competitive. Now they added some additional features that drove up that cost, but if you compare it apples to apples with features, it would be much cheaper to build that as opposed to some of the other products you see, just again because of the complexities of the roof and that type of thing. More than anything, I just wanted to flash this number up. Most of the stuff we're seeing is 220 to 300. Somebody could maybe do it a little bit cheaper. I've bid and priced a ton of this, and I'd be very skeptical in the market right now if it's too much less than this. Certainly you can spend obviously as much.
One other thing that we have to take a look at is we have to build within the bulk plane. Now what the bulk plane is an imaginary box on the back of your property. We have a different bulk plane on the back third of the property than we do on the front third of the property. So on the back third of the property, the way that the bulk plane is it's an imaginary box that we have to keep the ADU within. So we go up from the side property line 10 feet, and then we go at a 45-degree angle to the height limit of 24 feet. And that's the box that we have to fit this ADU within. For most of the areas that you are allowed to build an ADU, except for Curtis Park, there's a conservation overlay over there that does allow for a full 2 stories. And in the GMU context, you can also build a full 2 stories. Now, most of the other zone districts within the city, you can only build a 1.5 stories. And now the way that the city looks at a 1.5 stories is that it is 75% of whatever the ground level is. We have a 400 square foot garage with 300 square feet of living space up above. On that 650 square foot footprint, we can have 488 square feet of living space up above. 864 square footprint, 648 square feet of living space. So a lot of the ADUs that you see today, I think oftentimes when you just look at them, it's like, oh, that's a 2-story ADU. But really, the way they look at that is just sucking it in a little bit.
Biggest thing on my mind, the thing that I think about the most from a technical standpoint, is water management. This is the number one thing that I would say is being managed very poorly, generally speaking, in construction. Almost every house is flat roof, so we're building giant bathtubs on top of our homes, and we're not detailing them properly. It can be done properly, but it's much less forgiving. So if we have lots of flat roofs intersecting with walls and all that, there's a much higher likelihood of failure. So when you're thinking about a design, thinking about a pitched roof with overhangs is going to be long-term the most durable product you can do. If you're doing flat roof, more modern, contemporary, you just really need to make sure that whoever's doing it is detailing it properly, because water will ruin these houses quicker than anything.
How's the gut feeling on the tour today?
It's good.
Would you change up how you do your intermediate events?
I don't think so. I mean, I think the way we did it, well, I guess 2 things. The kind of like happy hour event at Blue Moon or something like that, I think the way we did it last time with talking about specific topics within the context of specific projects that you can see in the storytelling idea. That seems to be, we get the best response. That seems to be the best way to talk about these things instead of talking about them philosophically in the abstract. I think most of the people that come are just wanting to get a broader understanding and doesn't work specifically with their they're trying to figure out how to navigate contractors and city and all that.
Take it right here?
Yeah, take it right here. So the balance is always about like trying to figure out what makes the most sense for the most amount of people. And also you don't want it too long. It's like, well, really to dig into stuff we could have 4 or 5 hours, but then at hour 3 and 4 and 5, are you actually getting anything?
Yeah, it's always the when you're presenting, it's always the cell phone test. It's like the moment you see people popping out their cell phone, it's a good idea to shift.
Yeah.
Or say something that gets their attention again.
Yeah. Looking at your phone and then kind of like looking around.
Yep.
And I feel like, at least when I was up there, you get, like, I got a good reaction, good interaction, like catching people's eyes. They were engaged and
Yeah, no,
focused.
I agree. I was looking at the audience and everybody seemed to be kind of leaning forward in their chair, writing notes down.
But people have already heard a little bit of what I talked about. This is the ADU to this unit over here, this house in the front. Yeah. wrapping up the second annual home tour today. We're at Seedstock, just chatting with the few people that decided or that weren't tired from the event. And it was a really great event. We had 45 or so people at our VIP class, and I don't know exactly, around 150 people total. So it was just a really good event. Got really good feedback in terms of people really liking seeing the stuff, and so it was just a really great event, and we're happy that you joined us.
I'm Sarah Cinderhoff with L&D Construction. We're just finishing up our second annual ADU home tour. It's been a great day. We've had a lot of people out, lots of great questions from everybody, and we are over here having a happy hour right now just to kind of wrap up the day, answer any of those last minute questions for people. So we're super excited about this ADU tour and very grateful for everybody that came out to see us today. So thank you.
I mean, we were all worried a little bit about the attendance, but seemed to even a little more late arriving than last year regarding ticket sales. So I'm detailed, like in the weeds. And this year we were trying to be a little more high level, talk about specific projects. I mean, my default is to like get in the weeds on nuance, but that's a modular building, by the way.
It would have been all of you guys up there, and then the moderator sitting there with a couple queued up questions.
I think the format, what we did, works. I always just wonder about, like, are we delivering on the value prop of what people want?